Welcome back in here at 7. It is the news every football fan is talking about tonight. The Ravens reportedly signed a deal to bring in Jesse Minter as the team's new head coach. Sports director Alex Glaze joining us in studio again, and we're also speaking with Super Bowl champion Qadry Ismail about this big news.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. Jesse Minter has been the favorite throughout this entire process, but the Ravens did make this a lengthy process, Q. What does that tell you about how impressive he must have been in this meeting yesterday in the second interview that they pretty much didn't let him leave Baltimore, barely let him leave the room to offer him this job and this opportunity?
Well, two things to be sure. One, he obviously knew the system, knew the culture, knew the expectations. But the second thing is, in the art of negotiations, if you have two teams vying for you, then you have leverage. And he had multiple teams, the Cleveland Browns, the Las Vegas Raiders. He had multiple teams vying for him and wanting to get those second interviews themselves. So with that, Jesse Minter now comes back to the Ravens, and I think the Ravens probably wanted to draw this out a little bit longer, but recognizing that, in fact, he is the guy, we better go ahead and make the decision now rather than let him slip through their fingers and be hired by another team.
I think this is so interesting. Albert Breer put this out the other day. In the most recent 4 coaching hiring cycles, there have only been 3 hires that are defensive-minded, non-player head coaches. It's Matt Eberflus, Jonathan Gannon, and Mike McDonald. So that just tells you how rare it is to have a guy like a Jesse Minter and just to have the respect he has. I mean, we're already seeing guys like Tony Jefferson, Derwin James congratulating him and show their respect. I mean, just how important is it to have a guy that has that respect of Pro Bowl players like that coming in here, that Derwin James described him as an alpha, especially when we're talking about coming in here and taking over this job where you have a 2-time MVP and all pros all over the place?
Yeah, so I think excellence in any position, in any job, and in any field, excellence comes when you help the other person rise themselves up to higher heights. You didn't get to the Pro Bowl level. You didn't get to the All-Pro level. You didn't get to the MVP level by doing it yourself. A high tide raises all ships for sure, but if you want to go fast, go it alone. If you want to go far, you go as a team. I think for this particular case, you're talking about Jesse Minter going in a direction of, okay, I'm going to give you information that you can use to elevate your play on the field. Guys respect that. And that's what Jesse Minter brought to the table. And again, when you look at guys like Tony Jefferson, who literally for him, he was like, hey, I'm done. But he gets a second chance out in Los Angeles, rather, with the Chargers. That's where Jesse Minter can help him elevate his game and give him life back into playing the game of football.
Q, real quick, I mean, Minter, he led the Chargers unit 2 years ago. They were the number 1 defense in football. Odafe Oweh is a guy that he got his hands on this year. Wasn't doing much in Baltimore.
Literally nothing.
Nothing. Goes to Los Angeles, gets 7+ sacks in the season, 3 sacks in the playoff game. Clearly, he has a way of getting these guys to rise to the occasion and getting something extra out of them. What can Baltimore fans expect from that standpoint?
So we know that Baltimore has a history of being about the defense, being about just bullying you, knocking you down into submission. That fourth quarter is owned by the Ravens closing out games. That was lacking in the John Harbaugh era. I think this is a return to excellence, if you will, and allowing that defense to reestablish itself. And then, yes, depending upon who he gets as an offensive coordinator, you have a 2-time MVP and you have a ton of talent around him. They need to build or rebuild that offensive line. However, the excellence on the defensive side of the ball with Jesse Minter at the helm, I think we can say it'll be a return to excellence.
Yeah, that return to excellence, certainly the case. I've been texting with players tonight. I'm hearing from someone who actually played under Jesse Minter and called him one of the most brilliant minds in football and said he's a real players guy and a fiery guy. So really looking forward to seeing what he brings to Baltimore. You got to love that. And you got to love also Travis Kelce already responding to this on his podcast and telling stories about how Minter had Patrick Mahomes confused and throwing in blitzes that he had never seen before. So getting that respect immediately from some of the bigger voices and bigger, more recognizable players in the league, obviously a big deal.
It's a big-time hire. Waiting to see who will be offensive coordinator now. We had our big-time guns with us tonight. Super Bowl champ Qadry Ismail. As always, Q, thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
All right, let's get back.